Well, good morning and welcome to the 222 Men's Fellowship. My name's Brian Elder, and I've been invited by Coach Stanley to share a message with you this morning that I have shared a few weeks ago at the Worthington Christian Elementary School's Father and Daughter Breakfast. And that message was geared towards father and daughters, but also the principles are applicable to father and sons as well. And what I wanted to share about that message is the title is An Unbreakable Bond, a Special Connection That Lasts a Lifetime. And so before I begin, I'd like to give you a little bit more background about myself and my family. Again, my name is Brian Elder, and I am married to Kay Elder. She's a Spanish teacher at Thomas Worthington High School, and we're going on 29 years of marriage. It'll be July 23rd, will be our 29th year together, and we attend Grace Polaris Church. We have two children. Our daughter Elena, she's 25, and she lives in Denver, Colorado. And she is she's an English teacher, and she teaches for Denver Public Schools, and she's really the inspiration behind this message this morning. And we have our son Brett, who is 23 years old, and he is a recent graduate of Wright State University. And a little bit, my background with the Crusaders, I've been involved with the Columbus Crusaders really off and on in one shape, form, or another, really since the second year of its existence. So I think that goes back to 1997. And I must say that I have this great affinity for the Crusaders and a special place in my heart for the Crusaders and all the wonderful things that they do and the many, many people that they've impacted. So it really is an honor and privilege to be able to share with you this morning. So to kick things off, I'd like to go ahead and share with you the lyrics to a song entitled Cinderella by Stephen Curtis Chapman. Many of you may be familiar with the song. More of you may be familiar with Stephen Curtis Chapman. But I really believe that the lyrics of this song sets the tone for the message that I want to share with you. So let me go ahead and read these lyrics, if I may. She spins and she sways to whatever song plays without a care in the world. I'm sitting here wearing the weight of the world on my shoulders. It's been a long day and there's still work to do. She's pulling at me saying, Dad, I need you. There's a ball at the castle and I've been invited and I need to practice my dancing. Oh, please, Daddy, please. So I will dance with Cinderella while she's here in my arms, 'cause I know something the prince never knew. Oh, I will dance with Cinderella. I don't want to even miss one song, 'cause all too soon the clock will strike midnight and she'll be gone. She says he's a nice guy and I'd be impressed. She wants to know if I approve of the dress. She says, Dad, the prom is just 1 week away, and I need to practice my dancing. Oh, please, Daddy, please. So I will dance with Cinderella while she's here in my arms, 'cause I know something the prince never knew. Oh, I will dance with Cinderella. I don't want to miss even one song, 'cause all too soon the clock will strike midnight and she will be gone. She will be gone. But she came home today with a ring on her hand, just glowing and telling us all that they had planned. She says, Dad, the wedding's still 6 months away, but I need to practice my dancing. Oh, please, Daddy, please. So I will dance with Cinderella while she's here in my arms, 'cause I know something the prince never knew. Oh, I will dance with Cinderella. I don't want to miss even one song, 'cause all too soon the clock will strike midnight and she will be gone. All too soon the clock will strike midnight and she'll be gone. You see, it doesn't make a difference what stage she's in. She's going to move on to that next one. She's going to move on to the next one, move on to the next one, and guess what? That clock's going to strike midnight and she's going to be gone. And so I ask you, what kind of relationship you're going to have with your daughter? What kind of unbreakable bond? Or will you have an unbreakable bond? Will you have that special connection? Well, what I'd like to do here in the remaining time that we have together is share with you some principles and some practical experiences that my daughter and I have shared that I believe have helped us create an unbreakable bond, a special connection that lasts a lifetime. So what I'd like for you to do, if you would, I'd like for you to go ahead and turn to your Bibles, if you have your Bibles, and open it up to the book of Ruth. And you'll find the book of Ruth in between Judges and 1 Samuel. And we're going to go to chapter 3. And I'm going to read to you verses 10 and 11. But I encourage you to read verses 1 and 2, or chapters 1 and 2, because you get a fuller context. But just real briefly, we have Ruth, who's the daughter-in-law of Naomi. Naomi lost her husband and 2 sons, and she traveled back to Israel. And Ruth accompanied her and traveled with her. And it would so have it, and this is so cool how God works, it so has it that she met a young man by the name of Boaz. And Boaz happened to be the owner of the land that Ruth was working. And through a set of circumstances, they married. And they had a son by the name of Jesse. Jesse had a son by the name of David, who later became King David, and who was called by God a man after God's own heart. So isn't it really cool how God works and orchestrates events in our lives? Anyway, let me go ahead and read to you verses 10 and 11, chapter 3. "The Lord bless you, my daughter," he replied. "This kindness is greater than that which you showed earlier. You have not run after young men, whether rich or poor. And now, my daughter, don't be afraid. I will do for you all you ask. All the people of my town know that you are a woman of noble character." Think about that. Here she's being commended for her kindness. She's being called a woman of noble character. Isn't that what we want for our daughters? And if we want that for our daughters, what are we willing to do to work for that? How are we going to get to that? What kind of bond are we going to create? What kind of special connection are we going to develop? You see, so what I want us to do now is, in true Crusader fashion, I want us to take a look at the word Ruth. And I formed an acrostic that we can use for the word Ruth. And that acrostic would be R for relationships, U for understanding, T for time, and H for hearing. So let's go ahead and get right into it. R for relationships. You know, that's really the foundation for establishing a bond. That's really the foundation for establishing that special connection. And we would all agree that we desire to have good relationships. They're important. But let me ask you a question. What do you want that relationship to look like? And gentlemen, men, what are you going to do to ensure that happens? You see, it takes a lot of hard work, and it takes sacrifice. You know, you come home from a busy day and you want to relax and you unwind, but you got your child, your daughter, it could be your son, tugging on you. Daddy, Daddy, please, I want to dance. Well, you know what? Your actions are going to speak louder than your words. What are you going to communicate to her? I want to share experience with you that I had with my own daughter. Something real simple, but I tell you what, you'll find out a little bit later why it was so profound. But I used to come home from work, I was tired, worn out, wanted to do my own thing. And my daughter said, "Daddy, I want to dance. Could we dance?" And so there in the kitchen in our home in Gahanna, here I had with my little daughter, she would stand on my feet and we would dance around the kitchen and we would swirl and bend and dip and all kinds of wonderful things. Something simple, but you know what? I made it a priority. I was purposeful. I was intentional. And that's what I challenge you to do. Make it your purpose, make it your intention, make it your priority to develop that relationship with your daughter. Take time to pray for her on a daily basis. And I guarantee you, that'll set the foundation of creating that unbreakable bond, that special connection. Let's go to understanding. Do you know what's really important to your daughter? Have you taken time to ask? Have you taken time to observe, to watch, to see what she enjoys? What are her interests? Have you taken the time to say why or ask why? Why do you enjoy that? That's important. That communicates to her that you care and that she's important to you. That she feels safe. She feels comfortable to be able to be herself around you. And you know what? As she grows up and goes from the next stage to the next stage, she's going to be willing to share with you because you've taken time to understand. You've showed an interest in what she's interested in. Now, again, another practical experience with my daughter and I is she went through a stage where I would call it the grunge stage. It wasn't really something I was excited about, but you know what? It really wasn't hurting anything. She was a good person. She wasn't causing any trouble. And you know what? I embraced that. One day I said to her, Elena, she expressed interest in getting a skateboard. I said, great. You know what? Just Lou and I, let's go get a skateboard. Took her to the skateboard store in Westerville. We went out, we shopped and picked out a skateboard for her. And you know what? She used it and over time she grew out of it. But that was important to her because I showed that I cared. Another instance, she was into the electric guitar. So we got our electric guitar for Christmas. She messed around with it for a little while, but you know what? Eventually it was set in a corner and never did anything else with it again. But those are just little things. She expressed interest in them, and I took the time to express interest with her and show that she cares. Let's talk about time. You know, time is all about making it a priority. Time is all about making a commitment and giving her undivided attention. And when you do that, that expresses value to her. You show her that she's of value and of importance. Some practical experience. I used to arrange my schedule. I had the flexibility to be able to do so, but I used to arrange my schedule to take time to drive her to college. She went to the University of Cincinnati, and we had great discussions, whether I was driving her back to school or we were driving back together. We talked about all kinds of things. So you know what? Make it a priority. Make it a commitment to spend time. That'll express value to her. And then we have hearing. You know what? That's really important, because when you take time to hear, when you take time to listen to your daughter, you're getting to know her heart. And you know what? When you're getting to know her heart, that really expresses a form of trust, and it encourages communication. You know, practical experience, and I'll be brief on this, but my daughter was at a dance in high school, and I had never met this young man before, and it was okay. You know, the song came out and she started dancing, but then I noticed they were getting a little bit too close. And next thing you know, I'm listening, they're not doing what I think they're doing. They were kissing. And I'm like, I came up and tapped my daughter on the shoulder and said, I think we need to go now. And so rather than spare her an embarrassment, we were taking a friend back home with her, and Brett was in the car. We got home, and Brett went on inside, and Elena started crying in the car. Now, you know what we did? We went out on the front porch, and we spent the next 45 minutes just talking and hearing her out and listening to her. And men, I tell you what, I could have blown it if I would have been in her face, if I'd have been all over her. Now, sometimes we've got to discipline our children, but that wasn't one of those times. So let me summarize. We have relationships, which are foundational. We have understanding, which shows that we care. We have time, which shows that there's great value. And when we take time to hear, it shows that we trust. Now, in conclusion, I want to share this with you. I asked my daughter, I said, Elena, if you had to describe what our relationship is like, how would you describe it? And if you remember, I told you that one of the things that we did was dance on each other. She danced on my feet. She said, Dad, that's easy. I would describe our relationship as dancing on my dad's feet. And I said, really? She said, why? And I said, why? She said, well, you know what? That helped to create a bond between you and I. It helped to create trust. You took time with me. You showed me that you were interested. While you were guiding and leading me around on your feet, it showed to me that you were going to be there to help guide me, to help lead me, to help show me the way. And then when we took time to twirl and spin and all that, she said, that was like the celebrating of the accomplishments. There, you know, we overcome challenges together. We learned you taught me how to communicate. You taught me how to be the bigger person. You taught me how to love someone when I didn't feel like loving. And so I'll close with this. Men, if you want to develop that unbreakable bond, that special relationship with your daughter that lasts a lifetime, that special connection that lasts a lifetime, I encourage you to be a Ruth to your daughter. Take time for relationships. Take time to understand. Take time to spend time. And you know what? Hear your daughter. Listen to what she has to say. And oh, by the way, my daughter wanted me to remind you, spend time dancing. Whatever that looks like, spend time dancing with your daughter. And I can assure you, if you do those things, you will develop an unbreakable bond, a special connection that will last a lifetime. Thank you very much for allowing me to share.